it's Holly, and I started doing a series like this, I think, in the beginning of the year, I don't know, where I kind of showcased an author I liked, and I kind of stopped doing it and wanted to do it again. There's been some talk about adding more romance to the booktube community, and I've been trying to do that on my own channel, but I haven't been particularly drawn to doing reviews till I finish a book this morning, which I will be filming the review for after I film this. But yeah, so I thought I would do like an author recommendation for an author I really like in romance. Now, when I did my reading romance series, which I'll link the videos to in the description, did that make sense? I don't know. I recommended a lot of authors, so this is just like an opportunity, and I'll probably do like a spotlight on all of them eventually, but this one is the one about Julia Quinn. Julia Quinn writes historical romance. She's probably most well known for her Bridgerton series, which is a series of 8 books about 8 siblings. And I'm not going to really talk about those because I feel like they're her most popular ones. I've talked about them occasionally, so I just feel like I should talk about other things. I've read everything she's published, I believe, including the novellas and stuff. I own almost all of them. I think the only thing I'm missing is a few of the Bridgerton novels. Pretty sure. After I read those, I immediately went online and bought her whole backlist, basically. And her earlier books aren't quite as good. I definitely think the Bridgertons is kind of where she like took off, and that's why they're so popular. They're also really interesting because each of the characters are so different that there's kind of something for everyone. But I said I wasn't going to talk about that, so let's move on. The one thing that's really nice about her, and Sarah Wendell from Smart Bitches Trashy Books and the DBSA podcast, I think describes her books as like confectionery romance, and I agree. That's pretty light and easy. They're not super emotional. They're not issue books. The romances tend to be really cute. Even when the characters deal with some slightly darker topics, the way she handles those topics is done in a lighter way. There's a loosely connected series. I view them as a series. I'm not sure if like the publisher does or not, that I recommend that's outside of the Bridgerton series is these 3 books. So The Secret Diaries of Miss Miranda Cheever, or What Happens in London, and 10 Things I Love About You. So these all have overlapping characters basically, and the first one, The Secret Diaries of Miss Miranda Cheever, I think is amazing because it's an unrequited love story, which I hate. I'm not sure if I've talked about that before. I want to do a video eventually on trope. Unrequited love is like my least favorite one. I'm usually annoyed by one or both of the characters, and I don't buy the love story. But in here, I just like, I'm all about it. I'm all about it. She really makes me believe in these 2 characters. I feel like this one probably has some of the more intense things. But if you like unrequited love stories, this one would probably be good for you. What Happens in London, I think, is a really good like intro to romance read because it's fairly light, it's fun, it kind of has like a slightly mystery thing going on, if I remember correctly. And the other reason I think it's a good intro read is the sexy times in here is barely anything. So if you're not sure if you're comfortable with that, this is a good introduction. It is in there, but not a lot. So this is a good one, and I think this is a pretty good representation of what a Julia Quinn novel is like. And then the last one, and this is probably my favorite, is 10 Things I Love About You. And first of all, the hero in here is just funny. He's hilarious, and I love him. He has this like secret that I think is like the best secret ever, and like I said earlier, where she deals with some darker topics but in a lighter way. The hero in here, Sebastian, suffers basically from like a sort of PTSD from being in war, and so she touches on that, and she doesn't dismiss it. I don't want to make it sound like that, but she doesn't like over dramatize it, which there's a moment for that, and you know, sometimes that's the kind of book I want to read, but sometimes that's not the kind of book I want to read. And Annabelle, the main character in here, she's really funny. She's like constantly making lists, and they have a great chemistry and romance, and again, I think this is a really good example of what a Julia Quinn novel can be. Oh, the other thing about Julia Quinn really quick is she overlaps characters like crazy. So I think the biggest example of this is the Bridgerton novels. So there's characters in the Bridgerton novels that then show up in her latest series, the Smith, I don't know how you say that, quartet, which I believe the first 3 books are out right now. The Smith whatever family is mentioned in the Bridgerton series constantly, and then the Bridgertons show up in those books, and that happens a lot. Again, this series is full of the same thing, overlapping characters and everything. Like clearly, to me, all of her books take place in the exact same world. These characters know each other. It makes it feel more fleshed out when you read them all. The thing about that is, and I hadn't thought about this until I've been listening to old episodes of the DBSA podcast at work, because I'm just like needing something to listen to, so I'm re-listening. And she made a good, Sarah Wendell again, made a good point that there lacks suspense about like if any characters would be in danger, because these are characters you already know and love, so you know they're going to be safe and nothing's going to happen to them. Which if you're looking for that safety, then you know it's going to be there. But if you want like more, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going to happen, then Julia Quinn is not for you. But yeah, so she is one of my favorite historical authors. I think she's a really good, fun, easy introduction to romance. So if you've read Julia Quinn and you have anything to say about her, good or bad, I don't care, feel free to talk about it in the comments, or if you have any suggestions for authors that you think are similar or anything like that, we can talk about that as well. So thanks for watching. Bye!